I'm your host, and a very good-looking man, if I may add, Jared. This is an even better-looking man, and the one and only Captain Clay. Clay, what do you have for us today?
Well, first off, a lot of people have been asking me, like, when we send you guys emails, how does that happen? Who responds? What happens? Well, I'll tell you this. It goes through your internet, through your Google, into this bottle, where we take the cork off, it comes in here and it sits there, and then at some point it somehow gets to me via osmosis.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
True. Okay.
So today we're talking about the outliers, and do you have what it takes to be successful? And first off, we're going to be talking about a gentleman by the name of Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell us a little bit, what is his book about?
Well, he wrote the movie, or wrote the book Tipping Point. And he also wrote this book called The Outliers. And what's great about this book is that he just studies successful people with kind of an unbiased perspective. I think everyone's got a little bit of a bias, but he studies them and then looks at what is it that makes them successful. Is it their environment? Is it their genetic disposition? Is it the way they were raised? Is it their family's financial capacity? What is it that makes people successful? And it's been a really good book to read, and I thought I would share some of the nuggets from that book.
Okay.
Knowledge nuggets.
Give us a couple.
Okay, well, knowledge nugget number one is what is it that makes all these people so successful? I'll give you 3 examples in the book. He talks about the Beatles. The Beatles, John, Paul, Ringo, those guys. He talks about the Beatles. He talks about Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft. And then he talks about Bill Joy. And a lot of people don't know who Bill Joy is, but Bill Joy is the guy who wrote, whenever your computer turns on, and it has little prompts and it says now loading, or it's the black screen with the text on it when it first loads. Bill Joy is the guy who basically invented that software that we've used for the past 20, 30 years. It's really awesome. So, the book's about these 3 people. And basically the 3 common denominators he finds, and he doesn't word it exactly this, but I'm trying to save you the read here, is one, they all have an unbelievable aptitude for something. Like they're really good at something. If you're watching this, maybe you're just awesome at playing basketball or writing or reading or processing information or sales or joking with people or some kind of gift you have, computers, whatever. The second is they all have a hugely positive attitude. They're just gamers. Whatever is needed to do in order to help them do what they're good at, they're all about doing it. And the final thing is they have like a huge high altitude they're aiming for. They're all aiming for a high point in life, and so they don't seem frustrated by the small rejections we all get there.
Gotcha. Now, first off, why were the Beatles, Bill Gates, and Bill Joy so successful? Well,
check it out. Here's the deal. The Bill Gates, our main man, Bill Gates, he grew up in a wealthy family. I think his mother was a bank president, or his dad was a bank president, and his mother did something with banking. But they were very wealthy. He went to a school called Lakeside. And at Lakeside, he had a rare opportunity to get access to the first non-mainframe computers. It's called the teletype. It's kind of awesome. But the teletype, and he was pretty excited about it. But it would be like if, Jared, if I had access to like the first iPhone 5 years before it came out. I mean, it's just kind of like, ahead of the curve sort of thing. But it doesn't mean anything, you didn't do anything with it. But that kid went into nerd mode and focused, and this is true stuff. Before he was age 18, they estimate he spent 10,000 hours messing with the teletype on the computer. Awesome. The Beatles, they were really crappy, and they got a gig to play in Hamburg. And those of you who have not been to Hamburg, myself included, it is a really sinful city. It's prostitution, strip clubs, just a party. It's like a red light district. It's not the kind of place you want to go if you plan on going to heaven long term. But they got a gig to play there, and the gig they got was at a strip club. People don't know this stuff. And so their gig they got was at a strip club, but because the strippers, strip for long periods of time, they basically had an 8-hour show. So they had to have a 1-hour format, and they had to make it 8 hours. So imagine if you're in a band and you had to play for 8 continuous hours, And they did this for years, which equated to about 1,500 concerts they did over a period of time. Well, they put in 10,000 hours of work. And same thing with Bill Joy. Bill Joy, same deal, his mother went to the University of Michigan, or taught at the University of Michigan, some connection to the University of Michigan. Point is, somebody was a Spartan. And he was involved there. You like that, don't you? So anyway, he's at the University of Michigan, and it could have been the Wolverines, though. I could have falsified it. It could have been Wolverines, I don't know. But anyway, Michigan University, and he had access to a computer as well. And that kid just obsessed and put in work, and 10,000 hours later, all of a sudden he's an overnight success. So each three of these people put in work over 10,000 hours of obsession to take their aptitude they were good at and turn it into the best, into a phenomenon, into an outlier level of skill.
Gotcha. Now, what if these people were interested, gifted in this, the Beatles with music, Bill Gates with computers? They were interested in it, they had a gift with it, but yet they never took action.
Oh,
you see stuff like this all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. When I went to school, I was better than most people at drawing. You know, I can draw cartoons and monkeys and things like that. And I say and monkeys. I don't know why I just saw that monkeys. But I can draw, you know, basically cartoons and animation and stuff. And I like it. But at a certain point, college, I made a few cool art pieces for my wife, who I was hitting on at the time, trying to give wow her with gifts, you know, and feats of strength. And then once I got into working and starting the DJ company, I kind of stopped that skill. So my skill hasn't really got any better at all since high school. So that's what would happen, you know. You're a guy who's just above average at drawing cartoons. How much money do I make drawing cartoons? $6. I don't make any money. That's what happens with it, yeah. But I've been spending hours and hours obsessing about the DJ business, and I make a lot of money with that. So that's what happens. It's pretty funny, but that's what I make. I mean, it's like this with the book I sell, Make Your Life Epic. You know, I get checks in the mail for that book. And let me tell you this: you get like $1 per copy to sell. So if I get like $60 or $70, you know, it's just funny. You know what I mean? It's just funny. I make most of my money from like business coaching and speaking stuff. But when you get $60, $70 in the mail, it's always demotivating. But when you get $6 per decade from your art, that really starts to take down the ROI.
Now, what would you say if they hadn't spent you talked about the 10,000 hours they put in. What if they hadn't?
Well, here's what's crazy, is they did a study in this Outliers book of the best hockey players in the world, and a lot of these guys had spent, like, you know, they're chosen on the national team, they're great players, and then at a certain point, some dudes just decide, we are going to the top. And everybody else is like, we'll put in work when we can. Think about it. Darius Miles. Do you know who Darius Miles is, folks? Darius Miles, NBA draft pick there. No, you don't. Okay. What about Sebastian Telfair? No. What about Sam Bowie, drafted ahead of Michael Jordan? No, we don't know who these people are. And it's because Michael Jordan put in the work. He practiced, which is why he became successful. He didn't become successful and then practice to maintain. He became successful because of that. So if you don't put in the 10,000 hours of work, if you don't push yourself to take your area of natural aptitude to the next level, you're going to end up working at a respectable job at a casino buffet.